job you want. Have you heard that before? I would have pajamas on. Surely somebody needs a mattress tester or something. Professional sleeper. Sounds really good. But in our Ephesians reading, we hear another kind of dressing for the job we want, or perhaps the job that we've been called to do and maybe don't really want all the time. But this is this great passage about putting on the armor of God. Now, some people might have a problem with this sort of military imagery when we're talking about the gospel, because it does say in the reading that as shoes for your feet, you should put on whatever will make you ready to proclaim the gospel of peace. And Jesus came in peace, and God is all about peace. And so putting on armor might seem a little counterintuitive. But armor in and of itself is not violent. It's protective. And it's strengthening. And we certainly all need protection and strengthening for our work of following Jesus. I mean, even his closest disciples in our gospel today, and many times through all four gospels, struggle with what it is to follow Jesus. They say, this is a difficult teaching. This is hard to follow. And in the Greek, the word there is actually, this is a difficult word. And we're in the Gospel of John that starts talking about not Jesus as Jesus, but Jesus as the Word. So, in this context, maybe they are just talking about what he has just said, which we've heard for the past couple of weeks about eating his flesh and drinking his blood, and that is certainly a difficult word to hear. But we can think, too, about the fact that in John, Jesus is the Word. And Jesus is a little bit difficult to follow. So far in the Gospel of John, up until the point where we read today, Nicodemus came to him and Jesus told him he had to be born from above, which was confusing to Nicodemus. And then he encounters a woman at the well and offers her living water and tells her everything she had ever done. That could be difficult to hear. Don't know that I would want somebody who I've never met before just coming up to me and recounting everything I've ever done. And then for the past 5 weeks, we've reached the end of it. This is our 5th week of the Bread Sundays. But for the past 5 weeks, we've been in chapter 6 of John. And we've heard about him feeding 5,000 people. It's a difficult act to follow. We've heard about him walking on water. It's decidedly difficult for us to do. And then finally, inviting us to eat his flesh and drink his blood, which is a very difficult teaching to hear. Following Jesus is not easy, and if it's easy, then we're doing it wrong. But in our struggles, we are invited to put on the armor of God. Not just to defend ourselves, but to strengthen ourselves for the journey. So we put on this armor, and we go out into the world, and we're perfect then, right?
Right.
Well, all right, Sally. Sometimes we are. Sometimes we are. But sometimes we're not. And then we think, what? Did we get the wrong armor? Did I put on the wrong shoes for proclaiming the gospel of peace? Did my belt of truth not cinch properly? In our first reading today from Joshua, we hear this wonderful passage. This is one, right? This is another passage that it shows up on plaques a lot. As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. And the people make this great promise to God, don't they? They're like, yeah, we're in. We are going to worship you and nothing else. But of course, this isn't the end of the story there. As much as we want to be committed, as much as we want to follow, as much as we put on whatever armor we can find laying around our house, and as much as we feel strengthened, sometimes we just don't quite get it right. The good news is we get to put it on again tomorrow. After we get dressed for my ideal job, put on our pajamas, and then wake up in the morning, we get to try again. Jesus does not give us a once and done, well, you failed, and now I'm going to go find somebody else. God does not leave us high and dry when we don't get it quite right. In our readings today, we hear of these great committed people. The people of Israel committing to worship only the Lord. Paul speaking to the Ephesians about putting on this wonderful armor. And the disciples, at least the ones that were still there at the end, promising to follow Jesus even though it's difficult. But each of these stories continues after these passages, right? I don't think the church in Ephesus is still there. Jesus' disciples did not stand the test at the end. And the people of Israel continued to sort of stray from God. Just like we do. But God does not abandon Israel. Jesus reappears to the disciples even after they all flee from the cross. And though the church of Ephesus may not be there anymore, the gospel is still proclaimed. So no matter how many times we fail and get back up again, God will always be there with us, helping us back up, helping us get dressed in that strengthening armor, and protecting us along the way. Amen.